One of my favorite clips to use when making videos as I test new features is this Vancouver, Canada driving video. I've used it before in several previous tutorials, and this time I'm using it to compare 4 similar tests and their results. Because I'll be comparing timing results, it is important I provide some details on the hardware I use. In summary, I'm using my usual training rig, which runs Ubuntu 18.04, and some recent versions of the software you'd probably expect me to be running in early October 2021. Now that we have that out of the way, let me explain the 4 videos on the screen. In the top left, I'm running the CPU version of Darknet. In the top right, I'm running the CPU version of OpenCV's DNN module. In the bottom left, I'm running Darknet compiled to use CUDA. In the bottom right, I'm running OpenCV's DNN module compiled to use CUDA. Let's put a few labels to keep track of which video is which. The biggest difference is the time it takes to process each frame. The CPU version of Darknet takes almost 300 milliseconds per frame. OpenCV, when using the CPU, takes 80 milliseconds per frame. And then Darknet and OpenCV, when using CUDA, take almost the same amount of time, somewhere between 5 and 6 milliseconds per frame. Note that I'm rounding these numbers. The actual time it takes to process each frame is displayed in the top left corner of each video. Other than the processing time, the other big difference is how nearby or large objects are detected. Let me pause on a frame here to highlight the difference. Note the 2 cars in the foreground. Darknet has no problems finding them, but OpenCV's DNN module for some reason skipped these vehicles. Same thing with the pedestrian crossing the street. Darknet had no problems, but OpenCV's DNN module didn't see it. The last important thing to mention is the version of OpenCV you are running will determine if you can run YOLO neural networks within OpenCV's DNN module. And the version of OpenCV will also determine if you are limited to YOLO v3 versus YOLO v4, etc. OpenCV's DNN module is relatively new. Version 4 of OpenCV is definitely required. And to run YOLO v4, you'll need the latest version of OpenCV, which has never been trivial to build from source and install correctly. Especially if you're building OpenCV with support for CUDA, or you're trying to build OpenCV for one of the NVIDIA Jetson devices. That's all I have for today. I'll leave some links below to the relevant software I use to make these videos. Leave a comment or come join us on the Darknet YOLO Discord server.